Hi folks, thanks for joining me again today. I'm Stephen Cronin. Thanks as always for your support, and then the patrons over at patreon.com/Stephen Cronin, do join me over there if you get a chance. Today I've got a little fisherman on the river banks for you. You can just see him there, just sat on his little bucket casting his rod, trying his luck in the water. So let me show you the colours I've used for this one before we start painting. So if we take a look at the palette, I've used ultramarine, lemon yellow, alizarin crimson, raw sienna and light red. So the 5 colours are all Cotman watercolours, and then the brushes, most of it's done with a large Ransonite, and then I got a couple of riggers, a 0 and a number 3. I'll start off with a bit of raw sienna and alizarin. Just a bit of lemon yellow. Bit of burnt umber. Bit of light red in there as well. Well, just clean the brush. I want to get back to a nice yellowy colour. Let's push that up there like that. Push a bit into there. Ultramarine. There's a bit of treetops. Bit of nice foliage up there in the background. Right, I'm going to do a whole load of tree trunks on, just bashing them in with the rigger brush. Pop down some reflections as well at the same time so don't forget. Reload the brush. Let's have a few on this side. Put the reflections there. At this point I'm not quite sure where the water's going to be, to be honest, so I'm just putting them everywhere. Let's just soak that up down there. And then as the paper dries they'll go on stronger and stronger. So that's all the background ones. Next I'm going to clean the brush and just use a little bit of raw sienna and just work out where the land's going to be. So I think it's going to sort of something like that's going up there like that and coming down. Well, let's just get this flat against the board before I go any further. I'm going to get some strong reds in there. I've got a few sort of autumnal colours. Some strong leaves there. Massive things in the background there, a few further down below. Get a few more trees in amongst those. Big one there, big reflection. and we've got a few ones coming off the top. Get a few more colours into that, into those banks. I'm thinking a bit more yellow. More yellow in there, I think. So that's reflected down below. There's some more yellows up there. I'm going to put a big tree up there. Big reflection down there. So I want this land coming down. Something like that. Slightly higher on that side. Can't resist just scraping a few rocks. And where you go completely over the top, just paint over what's too much. Right, now these will start to go a little bit stronger now because the paper's starting to dry much now, so in there, let's pop another one up there. I'm popping these in quite thin as well. I often do them a bit too thick, although trees do grow in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so that's what I like about nature. You can paint it any which way you like. Buildings have to look spot on, but nature you can just really go to town and paint them whatever you want. Pop one in there, so give him. Something like that. I'll do that one a little bit darker now because this one's in front of that one. Bring it down a bit lower as well. The reflection needs to be a bit stronger. So another big one. Another big one. So I'm just pressing down harder to get a broader stroke. That reflection down. Against. They're quite similar, aren't they? So let's have like something from about there, I think. A bit lower down. I'll put a bit of land in there to support it as well. You can pop these in with a hake. What I like about the rigger brush though is you can sort of wiggle it and get more sort of random effects, and it just looks a bit more treey. something going off that way as well. Well, let's clean that brush. I'm just going into the lemon yellow. I just want to suggest some slightly lighter sections. Let's clean that, it's gone a bit messy. Might have to, I'm going to use it straight, fresh out the tube. And if I use a fairly dry brush, it on the corner. And this land just makes some grassy bits coming down there. A few bits of green up there as well, I think. A few darker bits amongst them. I do need a few darker tones. Flick up a few. Just make that base a little bit stronger. Again, just a little bit darker again. Just that it stands out when someone's looking at it from a distance, because these tones, I'm looking for that sort of variation from the strongest ones right through to the lightest ones. So the ones in the foreground I generally try and really make stand out. Just strengthen some of the darks just slightly. Just going to get a bit of red, a bit of blue, a bit of yellow in there as well. Right, I just want to suggest, just going to put a little fisherman, I think. just going to stick him, I think. Just take a little bit of red as well. Need a slightly thinner stroke. So just draw that out, and you just gotta bit of a rod out there. Just gonna darken, just match some of those tones up, I think. Gives a little focal point to the scene, little sort of silhouette of a fisherman, and I'm just going to finish it off. I'm just going to sign it down here and call this one finished, I think. So let's stick a mount on this one and see what it looks like. So here's the finished paint in the mount. So if you're going to have a closer look at it, got a whole mass of colours. I threw pretty much the whole palette at the background, but predominantly you got these yellows and these red colours, but you can see I've sort of preserved that bit of light that comes from the back right through, reflected in the river into the foreground. Amongst all these trees you can see they're put in various stages, from the most lightly toned ones all the way through to the foreground, so putting them in as the paper's, when it's its most wet, right through to its driest, and then just add these three, 1 there, 2, 3, dominate. You do need some dominating, because if they all look like that, it's going to look a bit confusing. I've sort of matched the darks of the trees with the shadows along the bases there, so that when you sort of look at it from a distance, you just got this sort of dark band across the centre region. I always put the reflections in at the same time. It's amazing how easy it is to forget to do that, to put the reflections in otherwise if you're going to do them later in the painting. And then just as a little focal point, just got a little fisherman there on the banks trying his luck there. So that's it for today's painting. I hope you enjoy that. Thanks as always for your support. If you do get a chance, join me over on patreon.com/StephenCronin. There's over another 200 videos there, plus you can post your own paintings on the community page. So until next time, keep practicing. If you've got any questions, please ask, and I'll see you again soon.